Hey guys, what's up here? Jin with another episode of the Otakuology podcast, where we talk about everything that's virtually nerdy, especially for all of you weebs, freaks, geeks, nerds, and everything else out there. So, stay tuned for our show, and here's my good co-host, Otaku Mike.
I prefer cultured individual, just saying.
Everybody's got a way that they like to jerk it, so...
I like to think of us as we're cultured and we're giving to the masses the stuff that we've learned.
Well, like they say, different strokes for different blokes. What's your stroke? Right hand, left hand? Fast, slow?
All of the above. All of the above.
You're like, don't give away my secrets.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, guys, on today's show, we will be talking about this. I almost want to call it critically acclaimed because of how many people have talked about it.
I feel like it might be critically acclaimed now, and I think it might have taken the world by storm.
I agree. There's one other show that this prompted me to want to watch the other one. I think it's called, it's Spanish. It's something Le Costa Esco.
Is it Alice in Borderland?
No. This other one is Spanish.
Oh, okay.
And I saw a caption on something before, and it said never trust somebody in a red jumpsuit.
Oh, okay.
And so this other one, in this one for Squid Game, they have the red jumpsuit with the mask with the triangle, circle, square.
Yeah.
And the other one, their masks are like white with like Mario mustache, and they have the real big like white eyes.
Yeah.
In their mask. So this one made me want to watch that one.
Oh, okay.
But no, Alice in Borderland is on my list too.
Okay, that's a manga?
Yeah.
Did you know it's written by the Hiding Closer guy? I think it is. It's written by... I'm not for sure. I can't remember.
No, I didn't know that.
I think it was written by him, or it was drawn by the guy who did Zom 100. I can't remember. I'll have to check it out later and see.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to get into this and talk about what you forced me to watch?
Yeah.
All right. So today we're looking at spoilers. Just so you know, we will be spoiling this show for you guys. If you want to go watch the show, you can do so on Netflix. Right. It's 9 episodes long. Come back after you watch it and hear our thoughts and opinions on this particular show. But yeah, if you wanted to be spoiled, go ahead and listen. But I just wanted to throw that out there and be like, hey,
And not only that, if you've watched it and whatnot, this will be a great podcast for you to listen to anyway, because we will throw out, I feel like, some Easter eggs that maybe a lot of people haven't actually caught.
Maybe. I don't know.
So... I know one that I'm going to ask you about later on that I want to see if you caught it or not.
Oh, I don't know.
So
I don't know,
because if you caught it, you're going to be like, and if you have it, you're going to be like, no shit. What?
I don't know if I probably didn't. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest. Like, I fell asleep several times while watching this, so I had to rewind it.
Yeah.
Not because it wasn't bad, just because I was tired.
Right. Oh, yeah. I felt that way a little bit, too, on some stuff, but not as bad as others. Some of the other shows we may cover in the future, I feel the same way about those. So
yeah. So, do you want me to get into this and read the premise?
Sure.
So, a group of 456 people from all walks of life are invited to play a series of children's games with a life-threatening consequences to have a chance to win basically the equivalent of $38.7 million in money prizes.
Yeah.
And our main character in this is Sung Gi-hun. Is that how
Yeah.
you say it?
Yeah, Gihon.
Gi-hun, who
Yeah.
is a down and out. He's addicted to gambling. He's basically a piece of shit father. His wife divorced him. He's living with his mother. He has no real ambitions in life other than to basically
Does it really say piece of shit folder on
No,
there? Okay.
I'm throwing that out there.
Okay.
Basically, he's a piece of shit father. Doesn't really spend time with his daughter and stuff like that. And today, in the show, when the show starts, it's his daughter's birthday, and he doesn't even have enough money to take his daughter out to get something to eat, or buy a present, really.
Right.
And his mother gives him some money and stuff like that, and he spends the day with his daughter. We find out that he gambles all of his money away, wins a bunch of money, and he has some loan sharks that come after him. He ends up losing the money because he gets pickpocketed by a particular woman who will show up later on in the show. Spoilers.
I was like, is this all on a description?
No, I'm talking about the show right now.
Okay.
I'm just going into it, okay?
I was like, man, this description's really descriptive.
No, the premise is literally like 2 sentences.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so
okay, so let's get into it a little bit, because I thought you were still reading the premise.
No.
So, from my understanding on part of it, that he only gets to see his daughter once a year because of the mom.
Yeah, okay.
He only gets to see her on her birthday.
Okay.
Which is weird because of, everything. Like, I would feel weird only getting to see my kid, like, on their birthday.
Yeah, but you could think it is set in South Korea. He is very much about himself. He's very what's the word I'm looking for? Very self-absorbed and very like he wants to get his next fix when it comes to gambling and get his next possible big break when it comes to winning. So he's pretty self-absorbed into himself,
Right.
Even when he takes his daughter out to get he was gonna take her out to get fried chicken, but she couldn't get fried chicken. And even the present he gets her,
it looks like they went out for hot dogs.
Well, it wasn't. I don't know what it was exactly. They say it in the thing, but I don't remember what it was. He doesn't even really have enough money to buy a gift for her. He gives her like a crane game gift.
Right. And let's just say that, like, the kid that got it for him was great, but I'm still confused why he didn't look in the box first.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, I'm really confused if it's a children's crane game.
Uh-huh.
Why is there a gun lighter in it?
I thought it was like a gun, like an actual
I did too, till he clicked it, or she clicked it, and I was like,
oh my god, she's gonna shoot him.
And I was like, what kind of Yakuza TV show am I watching?
Oh yeah, no, most definitely when it comes to that,
So, but I also feel like he relied heavily on his mom. Felt like she was kind of his superhero, and that nothing was ever going to happen to her, and that was kind of the thing that set into reality a lot of things for him when he saw her, getting sick and doing all this other stuff, and when they actually went to the doctor, and this was after they came back from the first game, and he saw her foot. Basically, it looked like she had frostbite, but it was like diabetes.
Let's lead up to that. Let's talk about like how he gets into the game.
Yeah.
To begin with, So he takes his daughter out, and he gives her the gun lighter, and she's like, yeah, I don't think Mom would like that if we if
If
she
I
found
if I
that
took
out,
it home, if I took
yeah.
it home,
And then he finds out that his daughter is moving to the
America.
U.S. Yeah,
Yeah,
to America, because her stepfather got a job for I don't remember what exactly, but they're
yeah,
moving there.
yeah. It was a promotion.
Yeah, promotion with his job, and he's like takes her home and says bye and kind of goes off and is I want to say like he's like sad about it, but he meets this mysterious man. They play this weird.
Oh no, I mean I think he is because there's that one part where um his friend that owns the bar is talking to him,
Oh yeah, that's right.
and he says, if you want your daughter back, you have to show that you're stable.
Yeah.
Which that's something that kind of blew my mind, just thinking about the difference between America and there, because he said if he got his act together and had money and everything,
Hmm.
like they would instantly tell the daughter to move back in with him.
Yeah, that's definitely really
And
interesting.
and I thought it was weird because, for the longest time, especially in the States, it's all more geared towards the mom.
A
So
lot of the states in America are pro mother.
right. They're
Yeah.
just slowly starting to change now.
Yeah. I don't want to get into that whole situation, but yeah.
Right?
I don't know the situation in South Korea. So
That's true.
I can't say what their
What do you mean you don't know the thing in South Korea, Mike? Didn't you have a show with a guy that wrote a book from there?
that never showed up in the book.
Maybe you should ask him. Hey, next time you're on a book, I need to see this in it, please.
I don't know the parental rights for each parent in South Korea.
Yeah. Oh my god, that would be hilarious.
But yeah, he meets this guy, this mysterious guy who has a briefcase. Do you know what game they were playing?
Oh god,
It was some kind of game. They
I
had
can't
like
remember what it's called.
Yeah, they have like these card things, and
You
one
use
of them.
I think they're like padded envelopes.
Okay, is that what they were?
Yeah.
That's what they looked like. And there's a red one and a blue one.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, every time you flip my card over, I'll give you I think it's like 10,000 or 1,000 won, I think it is.
Yeah, I'll give you 100,000 won.
Yeah, and if I win, if I flip yours over, I could slap you.
Right.
And so it's not going too well for Gihan. And Gihan's like, oh shit, this sucks. And he gives him a card. And the card has these little symbols on it. And you want to talk about what happens after that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this card for a second.
All right.
So all the way through this, like when this show first came out, I thought this was something about PlayStation.
You know what? I thought it was a PlayStation thing as well.
You thought the same thing? Yeah, because I was like, the only thing that this is missing is the X. Like, where's that at?
Yeah, no, most definitely. I was like, this is because in the PlayStation you have like the circle, square, triangle, X, and they had them all in a row like PlayStation normally does, and
right.
Yeah, most definitely. But you want to know a fun fact though?
What?
Fun fact. Let me pull it up. Well, this is bad because I actually wrote it down and stuff. But the phone number that was used in the series is a South Korean phone number.
Yeah.
And the owner of the phone number, it's a real number, and it got called thousands of times per day.
So after the show came out?
Yes, after the show came out, that number got called thousands of times per day because it's actually somebody's phone number.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's like the 8675309 thing, where that was somebody's phone number.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no! That's so bad.
Yeah.
Oh god, I would hate that.
Oh, most definitely.
Oh god.
Definitely.
Did you try calling it?
No, I didn't want there to be like any like international costs.
I wonder if so many people have done that, and then they get there after this has come out, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't even think about it. I just called it." And at the end of it, it'll be like, "Hey, you got a $25 international call fee that you tried to use."
Yeah. No, I did that. I've done it one time before where it was a number. It was in Constantine.
Oh yeah.
In Constantine, you call Constantine's number, you get his like voicemail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that before.
I think I've
and
only
there was
done,
one actually.
I think I've only done the Kratos one.
There was one recently where it was in a Thor comic book.
Yeah.
And Thor wrote, "If found, call Tony Stark on his hammer."
Yeah.
And if you called the number, like Tony Stark's voicemail would answer.
That's awesome.
In the comic, like you would call the number in the comic book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
That's awesome.
So he gets into this game with 400 and whatever people. What number was he? He was 456.
Yeah.
He gets into this game. They're in the game. They wake up. There's these huge bunk beds. He finds out.
Oh my god, massive
Massive bunk beds. They're like 4 or 5 bunk beds high, I think they are.
Yeah.
And they find these guys in these jumpsuits. They have masks. You can't see their faces. And he finds out his childhood friend, Song-woo, is there. And Song-woo is the golden boy of their...
Oh, so let me tell you this real quick.
What?
So, this prompted me to go back and start watching and finishing Sweet Home.
Uh-huh.
And there's a guy in that one that's called Sung-wook. And
yeah.
So it's spelled exactly the same, except at the end of the woo, he has an H. And it sounds exactly the same. Every time I hear somebody say the name, I'm like, that bastard. He betrayed Gihon. And I'm like, wait, Gihon's not in this one.
So
it keeps throwing me off so bad.
He meets Song-woo there. Is that Song-woo, right?
Yeah.
Song-woo.
His childhood friend, yeah.
He meets this old dude who is player number 1, and then this Pakistani guy named Ali.
Player 199.
Player 199, And they end up into their first game. And their first game is it looks like they're on like a beach of some kind. If I remember correctly, I think it was like some kind of... They were on sand. I can't remember.
You mean the very first one?
Yeah, the first game. The
red light, green light?
Yeah.
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 No, they're on... Well, yeah, I guess they're on sand or something like that. Or dirt. Because it's like a play yard.
Yeah. So they're all in these white and green jumpsuits. And they don't know how they got there. Well, like, they know how they got there. They...
Well... And if anybody has a problem thinking about what these jumpsuits look like, if you've ever read a slice of life manga, that's exactly what they look like.
They look like tracksuits.
Yeah, I mean, Japanese tracksuits. That's exactly what they are.
And they have like their numbers embroidered on like patches.
Yeah, and on their t-shirts.
Yeah, and so like they're gonna play. They're like, "You're here to play a game," and they're like, the voice is like, yeah, and whoever doesn't make it out dies after this thing,
And they don't even think about it.
They're like trying to get out and trying to run, and they figure it out. They have to play red light, green light.
Yeah.
And so they have to run, get to the end of this section of the yard. And whenever the creepy girl robot turns her face away, it's go. Whatever turns it back, if they catch you moving, you get shot. You just get shot dead. And after this scene was really cool, I have to say. Like, I thought it was very well done.
Yeah.
And eventually they do make it out. Barely, some of them do. But it's something like 100 people end up dying.
Yeah.
Something like that. And they have this big piggy bank.
Oh, wait, you mean from this one?
Yeah.
This one, it was... The number dropped down to 201.
Okay.
So from 456, it took out 255.
Okay. And so they get there, they win the game. All these people die. There's this big piggy bank up in the air, and all this money drops down into it. Because if you die, your money goes into the pot.
Yeah.
And
and your life is worth 100,000 yen.
Yeah, something like that.
Which, did you think that was kind of low? Well, because I was thinking that's how much the guy offered him was 100,000 yen for playing.
Won. It's won, not yen.
Well, yeah, well, but the guy that basically had said, "Hey, let me give you this card."
Yeah.
I thought that was the same price that he offered him. I'm like, is your life only worth 100,000 won?
I guess so.
Because I was like, that's how much you played this game for. That doesn't make any sense.
But... Yeah, and they also forgot to mention he signed over his rights to his body as well at one point.
Oh, yeah, before to the people?
Yeah, he signed over his rights to his body. And so they finish this game. Everybody's terrorized and stuff like that.
Which, let me ask you on that. Do you think the people that were out to do that? Because we also found out the guy with the snake on his face, I can't remember his name, also had a run-in with part of those people.
I think he was with the same loan shark gang.
Yeah, and then they turned on him.
Yeah, because he stole money.
Yeah. So,
I think it was.
But do you think that the loan shark people actually work with the people that ran the game?
That I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe they worked for the people who were selling the organs.
Yeah. That's true too. I didn't even think about that. Did you find out who the host was?
The host?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Remember they kept saying the host, will the host be joining us?
Oh yeah, it's the old guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, spoilers.
So, well, here's something, and I want to ask this now. Did you see the clue of knowing every game from episode 1, episode 2?
I figured it out because they kind of touch on it in the beginning, right? When they talk about Squid Game, right?
No. I mean every game.
What?
Do you know that every game that they played next,
no.
there was actually a spoiler thing that you could see, or a foreshadowing?
How?
So you can't really tell from the first one. You can kind of tell the very first game and the last game.
Okay.
But if you look at the room that they're in,
the pictures on the wall,
the pictures in the tile tell you every game they were going to play.
Okay. I noticed that later on.
After they moved more of the bunk beds out?
Yeah, after they moved more of the bunk beds out, I noticed that.
Yeah. After they came back, after they voted to leave and they came back, when they cleared out half of the bunk beds, then I kind of got a thing sitting there looking at it. I didn't think about it until they cleared out the second set of bunk beds.
Okay.
And you saw the symbol in the back where all the kids were holding balloons that were in the shape of the sugar game.
Okay, yeah.
And then I started looking at all of them, and you knew what every game was.
Yeah, because all of those games are from the 70s and 80s, apparently, in Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was the funny part. So anybody that didn't know that, and you're starting this, you can tell every game they're going to play from the tiles on the walls.
Yeah, I noticed it later on when they start barricading themselves in.
Yeah.
Later on. But yeah, they finish the game, and there's a law or a rule in the game where if all of them put it to a vote, they can all leave.
Right.
So they all vote, and they all vote to leave. Well, most of them vote to leave. It's like a give or take a couple votes.
It has to be over majority.
Yeah, something like that.
And since our number dropped down to 201, there was 101 votes to leave.
Yeah. And so they all get tossed out in the middle of nowhere. And this is where I kind of got a little bored a little bit, but I can see why they did it to bring sympathy to other characters as well as our main character
Yeah.
in the aspect. Because so we spend a whole entire, like, I think like a day or something out in the real world.
I think it was closer to a week.
Was it a week? Okay.
Yeah, I think it was closer to a week.
And we find out what happened and why our other characters are at like down on their luck, on their last leg type of thing, And we get all this, we find out that his friend laundered a bunch of money and stole stuff, and he's not as.
So this is what I think about that. Is I think that they actually gave part of the information to different people to have that stuff get worse.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I think Gihon is probably the only one that that it was natural for his mom getting sick and everything.
Yeah.
For the girl, the pickpocket.
The pickpocket, her family was in North Korea.
Right. And they were trying to basically like cross the border.
Yeah.
And her dad was shot, so they were still trying to get her mom, and she actually got out and got sent back.
Yeah.
But she goes to talk to the person to try and pay the money for them to get out. And he said that the person ran off with it.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that was connected into it. Like
you think so?
Yeah. And like what's the main guy's best friend?
Songwoo.
Songwoo, yeah. So Songwoo, I think they actually were like, hey, we dropped him off here. Because then they started snooping around trying to find out because of his money laundering and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And you find out all this stuff, and all this stuff is like bad's happening. And Gihon's mom has diabetes, and she's not doing so well. And that's his incentive to go back into the game.
Right.
And he goes back into the game with a little help from a police officer named...
What did you think on that?
What?
About, like, diabetes was a big thing there.
I can see it. I
had another friend that pointed it out, and they go, man, if somebody was in the same situation, but this took place in America, and they said they had diabetes, the person would... It would be a totally different, like, situation.
Yeah, but also his mom left the hospital.
That's true.
She didn't get the proper care she needed.
That's true.
But also, we don't know like the medical system over there, so we don't know if it costs more.
That's true too. Yeah.
So while this is going on, Junho, who is a police officer, meets up with Jihan, and Jihan, they don't really work together, but he kind of follows him to...
No, he kind of pulled what is it in Death Note, where Light talks to the female detective.
Yeah.
It kind of pulls like a situation like that. Like he kites Jihon for like information without Jihon knowing that's what's going on.
And he ends up sneaking into the facility where the games are being held.
Yeah, and he tells the vans and everything.
Yeah. And so we have
Did you think that whole part was funny? Like I couldn't help but laugh on the whole with him sneaking into the van thing. And he was behind the van, and then they all walked off.
Yeah.
To get the scanners, and then he hid in everybody that was asleep.
Oh yeah.
And let the guy sit there and scan his ears, trying to find this little chip that was in everybody.
Yeah.
And then got him, and I was like, and then you sat there, put the stuff on, threw the body overboard, and I was like, oh my god, like.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I was surprised he didn't get caught sooner.
That's true.
Than he did, because he like he just jumps into this world that nobody knows. He doesn't know. He doesn't know the rules really. He doesn't know what.
I would have. This is the one thing I would have liked to know of how many workers were there,
I would say probably
because
over 400.
the workers are just as weird off as the players.
Yeah.
And they can't show their faces or anything because that's a disadvantage.
True. And you could say they're basically kind of locked in as well.
But the weird thing is out of like you said, out of 400, it's really weird that he got lopped in with the group that was stealing organs.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I was like, how out of all these people do you get lopped in with this one group out of them?
That is definitely true. So what happens next after they get back into the games?
Oh, I think part of the players get dwindled, right? Because they don't bring everybody back.
Well, a lot of them, some of them don't. Some of them don't come back. Yes,
because I thought it was like 25 that didn't come back or so.
Yeah, something like that. So what happens next?
Oh, then they go into the second game.
What is the second game?
The second game was, oh my god,
it was the honeycomb.
Was the honeycomb the second?
Yeah,
one?
It was the honeycomb thing.
I thought there was one more before that.
No, it was the honeycomb.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So this is one of the ones I've seen a bunch of food people joking about, which I'm like, but they have, and this game has a specific thing too, but it's actually part of a sweet treat game. And they take one of 4 different symbols, and they actually, I think they take like a wire thing or like almost like a cookie cutter.
It's like yeah.
And they stamp it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the idea of it is that you use a toothpick or a needle, and you're trying to basically go around the shape of it without breaking the shape or the symbol. I've only ever seen this once in a manga, so it was still kind of foreign to me.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
So, I mean, it's not that big of a thing that a lot of people show.
Yeah.
But I did really kind of enjoy it, but you have to go around the symbol and figure out what you're going to do without breaking the symbol that's in the middle of this honeycomb thing and work around it.
Yeah, and it's a square, circle, star, and umbrella, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they're in this humongous giant playground.
That's true.
They all pick they create a team with the old guy, his best friend, and Ali. They all end up creating like a team, and it's like a divide and conquer situation.
Yeah.
And they all pick one, and Jihan is screwed because he gets the umbrella. Although I feel like Sunghoon, is it Sunghoon? He kind of screwed Jihan over a little bit. Just saying.
Sungwoo?
Yeah, Sungwoo screwed Jihan over a little bit on this because he knew what game was coming when he saw everything.
Oh yeah, he did.
He put everything together.
He did. Whenever he asked the girl about the thing, and she said, "I saw them doing all the sugar."
Yeah, because she ended up before the game started. She went with this other girl who. She ended up going through the air vents and looking at, like, kind of exploring to see what was going on.
Can I just tell you, I think she was one of my favorite characters. The crazy lady.
Oh, the one who pretended to have diarrhea?
Yeah.
Or constipation?
Yeah, because she always pronounced her name too.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't remember what her name was.
I think it was like Haiwoon.
Was it Haiwu?
Maybe I
I
don't.
don't remember what a lot of their names were.
No, that's
So
that's
if I say something, that I'm gonna say like old guy or something.
yeah. That was the thing that I always had a problem
Yeah.
with especially even in Korean manga, because
Yeah.
there's three parts to a name.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So so they get into this game, and Jihan is like fucking screwed. He is
definitely.
screwed, and he's like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die," because they have like 10 minutes, I think it is, to do this, and
Yeah,
people are dying around them left and right.
yeah, because they keep breaking it.
Yeah, and he figures out that he can just lick it.
Yeah, he holds it up to the light and realizes, oh my god, you can see around the cracks.
Yeah, he licks it, and he makes it moist enough and wet that he gets the umbrella out just in the nick of time
Yeah.
to get it out. You know.
It almost makes me think this part when he was sitting there doing that made me think about like a dog with a bone where they're sitting there
Yeah,
sometimes and they stop chewing on it and they just start.
and then
I was like,
then you see everybody else just start licking it as licking their honeycombs as well.
yeah.
So they're like, "Oh man, yeah,
Well,
let's get
did you
this." You
see
know?
the guy at the very beginning when they first gave it to him and he took a bite out of his? And I was like, oh no, you're so
No,
foolish.
I didn't see that. I don't think I saw
Yeah,
that.
it was
I might
like
have
really
missed it.
early. He just went and took a bite, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad he didn't break the symbol.
No, I don't. I think I saw Jihan kind of eat his a little bit.
Yeah.
Like broke it off and ate it. But I didn't see any. I don't. Maybe I missed that part.
Oh, and it
I
was,
can't.
I mean, everybody had a weird technique. So,
Yeah, there was the one girl who smuggled in cigarettes, and she like heated up her needle and burnt her honeycomb to get it out. You know.
yeah.
But yeah, that
Yeah.
was a real like stressful, almost little semi stressful. I was like, what the fuck's gonna happen? Like, well, are we actually gonna kill off our main character here? You know?
Right.
This is where I got back into it. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. After the second episode, I wasn't really interested because I was like, how long are they gonna take to get it back into this game? You know?
Right.
But they survive this game and they go into the next game, which this is where we find out they're starting to a group within the games
Yeah. They're starting to
are
make teams.
they're starting to make teams, yes, and we also find out that one of them is a doctor, and he is
Yes.
getting fed information through the food that they are given to find out what game is next because he has a
Yeah.
thing going on, a little
And
side hustle.
they're telling him word of mouth too.
Yeah, word of mouth as well.
And
And
they're getting it. He's getting double food.
yeah, he's getting double food, and he is basically helping this little group over on the side after the game's end harvest organs to sell in the black market.
Yes.
You know, so that's where we find out about that, and then we see them go through, and they make another team, they get another team together, and we get tug of war where they start playing tug of war. You know,
Was that the next one?
yeah. Next one was tug of war.
Okay.
I have it pulled
I
up.
feel like I feel like there's one more in between, like one of those games, and I can't remember what it would
No,
be.
because number 3 was Man in the Umbrella, which was the reference to the umbrella.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
yeah, and this one, which was stick to the team, which is the tug of war episode.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we see this episode. We're kind of glossing over a lot of stuff here, you know, but we get this. They're like, it's like, how would you describe the tug of war thing? To be exact.
Regular tug of war.
No, like how would you describe like the setting?
Oh, it's a tug of war over a pit.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, like, and then the other thing is after you become a clear loser, like there's a guillotine that cuts the rope in half.
Well, and also they're chained to the rope.
This is true too.
Yeah. So you're suspended on this like
I was sitting there thinking it would be really cool for them to have like one team
yeah.
that like half of it was like strong people,
Yeah.
and their people like fell off, and the people pulled them back and were able to like pull the entire group like back over.
Uh-huh.
I was like, that would have been cool to see.
That kind of sort of happens a little bit.
Yeah, it does a little bit.
A little bit, you know. But yeah, so we get this team that is made up of like gang members kind of. And they are first up, and they have to the other people are watching this game happen. And they're like suspended over this, I don't know what you call it, these two elevator lift things, and it looks like almost like a road kind of like construction thing. And there's a gap in the middle, and they're all chained to this rope, and then they all fall. You know,
Yeah.
and what happens next? Like that's how it is. That's how it is. Like
Oh,
they.
I mean, you fall from such a height, like there's almost no way for you to survive.
Yeah.
I think out of everybody that fell, we saw maybe 3 of them that survived, and they went in after them with a gun. So
Yeah. There were some of them that did survive. But they had like this. They listened to the old man actually, on how to win tug of war, which is pretty cool.
yeah,
Which they didn't. They were going up which I thought they were gonna have to continue to compete in tug of war. I didn't know it was like a one thing elimination. Like you win, you get to go back.
right,
I didn't know that was gonna be like. I thought they were gonna have to continuously play. Honestly,
right. No,
at first,
after the first team got sent back, I was like, oh, okay,
yeah,
because I thought it was going to be like a tournament set thing too, but it wasn't.
yeah,
But that
yeah.
that was crazy.
That is definitely true.
Because I also thought that the weird thing is like, so if you really listen to like Gihon talk to the old man sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
like between either him sounding confident or his enjoyment of it or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
I had a strange feeling that he knew every game already.
You think so? You think so?
Yeah. Well, then when you find out later on that he's actually the host, then it makes sense that he knew about what every game was going to be.
Yeah.
Because then you have to think about too, especially with all the people in the gold masks or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
the donors.
Yeah.
You have to think about the host is actually the person that gets to set everything up.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about that, with the room already having the tiles set for every
Yeah.
game that they were going to play, you already knew that it was preset originally.
Okay.
So I think he was in it, and he already knew because he wanted to play in the game, which we did see that already.
Yeah.
We saw the part where he, what was the dude in the black mask name?
The front man.
Yeah, the front man.
Yeah.
We found out basically that the front man, that's all he was like the event coordinator.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, it made sense, especially when we saw the whole scene of the old man talking to him and saying, well, how am I going to watch anything up here? Like, I want to play the game. And that's
Yeah.
when he donned suit number 1 to be in it.
Yeah.
So
After the tug of war, is this when they play? Right after this is when they play the other game,
which one?
where everybody starts attacking everybody. That's the set the game after this, right?
The nighttime one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because don't they start the other game because is it the Oregon donors get caught, right?
Yeah.
Or am I thinking of something else?
No, that one didn't. The organ donor thing didn't happen yet. I actually
Okay.
think that the night thing happened before.
Okay.
I think it happened before Tug of War.
Did it?
Because after they came back from Tug of War, isn't that when they started making barricades?
No. No, I don't think so.
Because then that was the other weird thing is this wasn't
Maybe I can't remember. I'm getting it mixed up now.
well, the thing at night, that was the weird thing is it technically wasn't a game.
Okay.
It wasn't considered a game. They just wanted more people to die off.
Okay, maybe that was they killed everybody and then they went to tug of war. I think it was.
Because hold on, let me look. So this is the thing I pulled up, and it tells us all 6 games. We have the marble game. We have the honeycomb shape cutting game. We have the squid game. We have red light, green light. We have tug of war, and we have the glass bridge game.
Okay.
So that thing.
Wait.
The thing at night isn't actually a game.
Yeah. Okay. They just wanted that to happen.
Yes.
All right, that's what it was. So yeah, we have this big cool fight. I don't remember if it takes place before or after tug of war, but it's almost like gang fights almost.
Yeah, they only gave them an egg and like a Sprite, like a Mexican Sprite to drink, and they were supposed to basically be pissed off enough to get into a fight and kill each other.
Oh wait, no, that's after the honeycomb thing, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think it's before tug of war.
Okay, yeah.
But
dude, that scene was fucking intense.
Doing the thing at night. Oh
yes.
Yeah. Well, you know, it makes it even worse is the strobe light part.
Oh yeah, because they start flashing the light,
and then you can see like things happen, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Like, "Oh my god, this shit's going crazy."
And then when they kept trying to find the old man, I was like, "Where's he at?"
That's true. Because the old man,
which that's another thing. Like he had to have already known that.
Yeah, and then don't they?
Because Gihon makes a beeline to go find him.
Yeah, and then you see them. They have these lifts on the beds, and some people are staying on top of the beds, and they just dump the beds. Like the game people dump the beds.
Yeah,
and they're like people come crashing down, and people are dying left and right. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
it's
the players.
Yeah, the players.
Yeah, the players. Whoa.
Yeah. And so we go from that after tug of war and stuff like that. We get a little more with Junho, and Junho is the police officer, like we said before. He breaks into Frontman's office and learns that after the tug of war events, learns that the game has been going on for 30 years.
Longer than that. That was the only one that we saw.
Yeah.
Because the one that he pulled out is 1999.
Yeah, something like that. But it's on the Wikipedia, it says 30 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So
we also learned more. For anybody that missed it, Gihon brought it up once whenever he was talking about something. The reason why Gihon is actually on the island.
He's looking for his brother.
Not Gihon, the other guy. The police guy.
Junho.
Junho is actually on the island trying to find his brother.
Yes.
That is the only reason he is here. He's been worrying about him. And that was one problem I feel like I had with this, is it wasn't exactly clear cut and concise about that.
Yeah.
I would really like them to do a part off of this where like the scary movie you wanted to watch, 1979 or
whatever it is, Fear Street.
Yeah, the Fear Street things where it actually goes back in time. One, I would like it to go back one where the brother actually participated in the games.
I would like to see it. I think that would be cool.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, because it said he was one of the winners, you know.
Right. And that makes you think, like, does this put you in a roster to be the front man, like, at some point?
Who knows? You know.
Or do they pick somebody out of the winners and say, hey, you know, the old frontman died or whatever. We would like you to be this person.
Yeah. And then after we move on to that, we move on to Gunba, I believe that's what it's called.
What was this one?
Gunba, where they play the marbles.
Oh yeah. Oh no, you're talking a Gunba.
Yeah.
so Gunba is like your best friend.
Yeah.
So like you and I would be Gunba.
Mm-hmm.
But in like American terms, for you and I, it would be more like a bromance.
Yeah.
Like, because he says that, what I own, you own.
Yeah.
So in a way, it almost sounds like marriage, but it's like something you would do with your best friend.
Yeah, like a friend or something.
Yeah, like your best friend. Like I would consider, like if we did manga collections, I would consider my manga collection your collection, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it's one of those friends that you have such close ties to. Like you make sure that a majority of their life.
I have to say, this episode was probably the most heart-wrenching episode in this season or series,
Yeah.
Episode 6. So in episode 6, they basically...
I hated this episode.
Junho secretly watches Frontman and learns that there's going to be VIPs showing up with this soon to watch the ending of the games. Because I believe they're watching already.
Yeah.
And they're betting on who will win, who will lose, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we get into the next game, and we start to learn more and more about our other characters within the game itself and why they're there and stuff like that.
Yeah. We get more of an information boost. So which one would you like to pick first?
What?
Of the people.
For what?
That we're going to talk about. Let's take the least one that you and I care about, which is the Yakuza guy with the snake on his face.
Oh, yeah, he's a fucking little bastard.
So that was fucking hilarious. I think I love his whole gamble with the other guy.
Yeah.
Which, here's the weird thing. And you'll have to go back and watch this part and catch what the guy says. The fat guy that's his friend in this starts getting cocky with him.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'm really good at putting things in holes.
Oh, and he's like, yeah.
Yeah. And so that either like made me think that he was either a pedophile or a rapist.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Because when he did that, I was like, the hell?
Yeah, that was weird, Like, so in this next game, they're in this simulation for like a town.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's actually the old guy's like hometown.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
And they're all given a bag of marbles with 10 marbles. They have to pick a partner, and they have to figure out how to get the marbles or win the other 10 marbles from their said opponent,
Yeah.
And so we're seeing throughout in this episode, each group figure out how to deal with...
Which, let's get this straight. So the game before this, we had even players.
Yeah.
That's what everything's been trying to weigh on. Is the first games single people out until we get down to an even number.
Yeah.
Then, before this game actually happens, we have the doctor guy and the other people get caught. And so now we're back to an odd number.
Yeah.
So the crazy chick with the big mouth or whatever actually gets a free pass on this.
Oh, that's true, because nobody wants to pick her.
Exactly.
And she thinks she's gonna die.
Yeah.
But she doesn't. She doesn't die.
Yeah. And then we find out that's a rule too, besides the rules that were first stated, is that because if you don't get picked, it supposedly would make you turn into like a gangster or an outcast.
Yeah.
And that's against the rules, so you have to stay alive for that.
So it's kind of like almost like a loophole or a get out of jail free card.
Yeah, if you're the last person in the thing and you have no partner that you can choose from, if the game calls for an even number, you get a pass.
Yeah. And so they're all figuring out what game they're going to play. Some of them, play odds and evens where they take some marbles and you have to guess if it's an odd or even type of thing,
Yeah, so one player guesses odds or evens, and then the other person that gets it right or wrong, they give you marbles based off of your guess.
Yeah. And Gihon gets stuck with number 1 old guy.
Yeah.
Who at this point he hasn't been faring so well because he does have a brain tumor in his head.
Yeah.
And you think he's going crazy. He has possibly like dementia or Alzheimer's.
Right.
At this point. And he's like, oh man, I this looks very familiar. You know, my son has a birthday, and he starts having to chase this old man around to get these potential marbles, you know. And
Right.
while we're at it, you know, they've actually kind of become friends and made like this bond together, you know.
Right. Because we also had the part when they left the game originally.
Yeah.
We had the whole scene where the old man and Gihon actually had sake or something together and like dried ramen.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're actually friends. Well, they become friends, or like, you know, and they're finding out that, oh, you have to play against this other person. You know, you're going to be the cause of their death if you win. You know,
right.
And
which did you think anything right before this game happened in the symbolage of Gihon took his jacket off and wrapped it around him? Because remember, the old man peed his pants.
Oh yeah, it's like oh here man, I got you, buddy. You know.
Yeah, and then the old man took his jacket off.
Yeah,
and gave him that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Like right before he got out of the game,
because he was like, oh, it'll show weakness if you don't have your jacket, you know.
Yeah,
but he had number 1's jacket.
Yeah.
So he's trying to get these marbles. Can we talk about Sung Hoon and his little story with Ali?
Let's do his after. Let's do the girls first.
Okay, yeah, we'll go ahead
because we've already talked about the Yakuza guys.
Okay, so yeah, you want to talk about
that was
them?
funny. The Yakuza was funny as shit because I was not expecting that dude to be as mouthy about. You know,
I got you.
You're just this arrogant punk or whatever too, and I'm gonna beat you in this marble game. I was like, this guy's got a pair on him finally.
Yeah.
And then we move on to the girls.
Yeah, let's talk about the girls.
Yeah, which is the Pickpocket and
the
girl that she invited for the tug of war the last time.
We find out she's a murderer. She murdered her father.
Yeah, she killed her dad because her dad killed her mom.
Yes, correct. And so she recently just got out of prison.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't even think she went to prison.
Did you don't? I thought they said she did.
I can't remember. I don't think so.
I could have sworn they said she went to prison, but I'm not for sure.
Well, the crazy girl I know went to prison, and they said she got out recently.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, because she killed one of her kids, I think. Or she killed her kids. Yeah. Which is the weird thing why I kept thinking she kept bringing up the thing, because I think she was actually a prostitute before.
You think so?
Yeah, or some kind of escort.
By the way she act, now I can see it. Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. And she kept saying, and her fucking motto, I'm good at everything except for the things I'm not good in.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was like, because when she first said that, I was like, that doesn't exactly make sense, but I guess it does.
Because her first thing was always to go to house, like, suck your dick or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we can talk about the girls. Go ahead and talk about the girls.
Yeah. So, we have the Pickpocket, and we have this other girl.
Mm-hmm.
And they decide
the defector.
Yeah, they decide that their game, they're not even going to play a game.
Yeah.
Until the very last,
3 minutes, I think.
Yeah, like the last few minutes of it, and they just are going to sit there and talk.
Yeah.
So they really just wait for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's really it. I mean, we get more on the Pickpocket and all that. We get this other girl's kind of story. We kind of get this lesbian imagery out of it, I feel like.
Really?
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people put stuff out saying that that was like the power couple of the series.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, that's they've only
I
known each
didn't
other.
even get that from them. No.
Well, I did at one point where when they started talking, and at the end, she kept asking her if they would go to Jijuri Island or
I
whatever.
thought they were just going as like friends or potential friends.
I have no idea.
I got nothing out of being in a relationship or being lesbians out of that.
Yeah, I feel like originally I wouldn't have thought about that until I had seen part of that stuff talking about it already.
That seems like a reach.
Yeah,
I don't know.
a bit.
For me, that kind of seems like a reach. But if I didn't get that out of that, so I mean, we all get things differently out of different contexts.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Anyways, continue. Sorry.
And so they're just going to play one game at the very end.
It's who can get to the end of touch the wall.
Yeah,
with their marble.
Who can get their marble closest to the wall?
Yeah.
And our pickpocket does actually try.
Yeah.
And the other girl just drops it.
Yeah. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
She said, basically, I have nothing else to live for. It doesn't really matter in this game. And, basically, like, just remember me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she dies. She gets shot in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we go to Sung-woo and Ollie.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh my god. Sung-woo is a bastard.
Oh yeah. Like I thought he was out for the team, and then that bastard.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because Ali is like the nicest person other than Gihan. He is the nicest person in this fucking game.
Yeah. Like, and he's really honest about himself. He wants to do everything for his family.
Yeah.
He's trying to do all that stuff, and he's out for the best, but he wants a fair run at everything.
Yeah, he's a foreigner in a different country,
Yeah, he comes from Pakistan.
Yeah.
We do find that out. Sent his wife and child back because they came for money. Just like a lot of people come to America.
Yeah.
And there wasn't an outlet. Like, basically, he got treated as bad as most Spanish people are treated here in America.
Yeah.
Because he's like, there was no money, and then they still screwed him over with it.
And he got in trouble because he tried to get money from his boss. And
let's just talk about that. That dude was a lying sack of shit. Okay?
Oh yeah. He worked at like this like metal shop. It looked like
they worked at a clothes shop.
Was it?
I think so, because those were presses.
Okay.
Like how you would wring the water out of your clothes and stuff.
Okay. And the guy gets his hand all fucked up, and he steals this money. All he steals is money that's owed to him. We'll say
here's
that.
The thing. Did you see when him and Sung-woo were talking about, and there's a part, and I had to go back up and watch it twice. And Sung-woo tells Ollie, he goes, you need to cover that up because people will think you're weaker for it.
Yeah.
And I kept trying to figure out, what is he talking about?
He's missing like 2 fingers.
He's missing his last 2 fingers.
Yeah.
I think he's missing his last 2 fingers from the press at the place, just like his manager dude got his hand stuck in there.
Oh, you think so?
I think so.
Interesting.
I mean, because
of that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think about it till after I was like, wait, what is he talking about being weak for?
Yeah.
And then I noticed that he was missing fingers because I thought he had his hand curled.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. And so Ollie is in Sung-ho, right? I'm bad with names.
Sung-woo.
Sung-woo, sorry. Yeah. They're together.
Sung-ho.
Sung-woo are together, and Sung-woo is desperate to win this, and he fucks Ollie over so hard within
Yes.
this game.
Yes.
And so he comes up with this big elaborate plan that they're gonna work together to take everybody else's marbles, basically. And he makes this little satchel thing for Ollie to put around his neck with his that holds his marbles, and he finds out that his marbles are just rocks.
Yeah, Sungwoo used his sack
Yeah,
to put the marbles in because his was virtually empty.
yeah. He steals the marbles, leaves Ollie there to die. Just leaves, What a fucker.
Oh my god, yeah, right when he was walking, and then
Yeah.
you get the whole lost child feel from Ali because he goes
Yes.
back and then he starts realizing what happened.
Yeah.
And Sungwoo gets all the way to the door and you hear Ali go, Sungwoo!
Yeah, and
Oh my god.
he like stops. You can see Ollie in the back, and Ollie dies. He gets
Yeah.
shot, and
Yeah.
oh my god, that was so heart wrenching.
So you want to know the thing that I would compare this to?
What?
Whenever you hear and you're gonna think I'm a fucking nerd for it. But that's what this podcast is about, right? In Braveheart, whenever at the very end, when William Wallace does the yell for freedom and the old guy is sitting there and was like, what? I got that same impression from Sung Woo with this.
I guess. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen Braveheart, so your reference kind of goes over my head with that.
Upset?
Sorry. I watched Braveheart when I was a child.
Yeah.
But yeah. And so
Whatever.
Sung-woo gets out, and we're left with Jihan and Old Man. And Jihan kind of like plays with the old man's dementia and starts lying to him.
No.
Right?
No. The old man knew.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm just saying.
I think the very first time it was
Uh-huh.
his dementia kicking in.
Uh-huh.
Every time after that, I think it was just a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he forgot the very first time, and then he played it up because he knew that it happened.
Yeah.
I feel like, and he kept letting Jihoon do it to him.
Okay.
Until they got to the last one, and then he got up and took him to the thing, and had his little thing where he was talking about his past and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Because when he was sitting there, he tells him, "Let's put all of our marbles into this one last thing."
Mm-hmm.
And Jihoon goes, "No, that's crazy. Why would I do that?" And then he tells him, "Crazy like taking advantage of your best friend."
Yes.
And I was like, he must have known this like the majority of the time because, and just kept playing it that way.
Well, I thought it was he was playing that way from the beginning. After I figured out, I thought he was playing it from the beginning like that.
I think just the first time it actually happened.
Okay.
And then I think after that, he did it to see how honest Jihoon was.
Yeah.
Because if you keep seeing it, Jihoon actually, when the old man says something to him, he's been showing him this nicety and everything to him.
Yeah.
And I really wonder if it went the opposite way as that.
Mm-hmm.
If the old man would save Jihoon out of the game.
Possibly.
Because he had the power to do that.
Yeah. True.
So I really wonder.
Yeah.
And then we get the scene where you have that, and I had to already know this because I watched a little bit of an episode with a friend, which is where he saw the old guy in the bed after he gets out of the game, and I was like, this guy doesn't die though, And after thinking of who the host was and everything,
well, they made it look
okay.
like he died.
Yeah, they walk, which I really wonder if there were any spoilers for the thing there. Whenever you see Jihoon walking and you see the back of the worker, you see the back of his head over the wall.
That I don't know.
And so I wondered if there was anything there. I didn't go back and watch it, but I thought maybe there might be something there.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
he got pulled out of the game.
Yeah, he got pulled out of the game, and they go on to the next event. We meet all the VIPs, which let me just say, all these VIPs are creepy as fuck.
This is true.
They're fucking creepy. And I have a question, because in the room you see these, they look like naked mannequins.
They're people.
Were they actually people?
They were actually people.
Because there was one where the guy was resting his head on a pair of tits.
Yeah, where the girl was laying on the back of the couch or whatever.
And I could have swore one of those tits moved.
Yeah.
But I wasn't for sure.
Everybody moved.
I wasn't for sure. Because they were still on awful for quite a while.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me. I didn't know. They didn't go into that. But there were a lot of titties in this part.
No,
a lot of titties.
Because I thought they were like statues that were standing there.
Yeah, I did too.
Because when it first comes in, there's one of them standing up and there's one of them laying down or sitting on the couch.
Yeah, there's one like leaning over a couch too.
Yeah. Well, no, not at first.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, the female is always sitting on the couch and the guy is standing beside it. And then after the VIPs actually get in there, they all move.
Okay, maybe I missed that.
Because there's one of them where the guy was resting his feet on the person's back.
Uh-huh.
The crazy guy that tries to get Junho or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Junho.
Yeah.
He's got his head laying on the girl's chest.
Mm-hmm.
And the male one for him is sitting on the floor or laying on the floor with a tray of food on his back.
Okay, I must have missed that.
Yeah, so I mean, when it goes to each and every one of them, all their people are arranged differently.
Oh.
And then you have the two in the very back that they keep showing from the camera angle of them showing the game.
Yeah.
And they're both laying there kind of intertwined together.
Okay.
So they're all...
Gotcha.
It was like works of art, I guess, to an extent.
Yeah, and so Junho... Is this where Junho escapes? He gets out with all his stuff, right?
Yeah, he gets out from the pictures and with
in the middle of the next game, because they go into the next game pretty fast after the marble game.
Yeah, they get one night off.
Yeah.
Which you also have, and they must have known this. I feel like everything they knew about all these people, like religiously almost.
Yeah.
Because they had to know that after the one guy's wife died that played the marble game with,
that
he was going to hang himself, which
would
put him back which would put him back at even numbers.
Yeah, true.
So,
yeah,
I think,
maybe. Who knows?
Yeah,
You want to talk about the next game that they get into?
Yeah,
the glass game. Oh my god! Oh my god!
So, the glass game was one of them was a sheet of tempered glass, and the other one was plexiglass or something.
I think it was just regular glass.
Yeah,
I think.
Well, one of them was like bulletproof, and the other one was something else.
I think it was just regular glass. The one was one was glass, one was like tempered glass.
Yeah. And so one of them you could stand on and it would automatically break. The other one you could jump on and two people could stand on it comfortably.
And it's like they make like this bridge of two rows, and there's a gap in between each pane of glass.
And you have to guess.
And you at the beginning they had to pick these numbered vests 1 through 16, and Gihan was last, and you basically have to get across within like 12 minutes, I think it is.
16.
Yeah,
it was 1 minute per all of them.
And so you had to go in numerical order. So they had to kind of... Everybody before had to guess, and he had like the biggest advantage because he was last,
Right.
Watching these people jump from pane of glass to each glass was so nerve-wracking because they would be like, "Ha, I got it."
Right.
Like, oh my god, like,
Or
and then
the mathematician guy.
oh yeah,
Because originally he was trying to tell Ji-hoon with the marble game
yeah,
to be his partner. And
and he
then
was
he
like,
takes
no,
off running in this game and
yeah,
gets through like 3 of them and then breaks.
yeah,
And
and
I
they're
was
like, oh
just
my
like,
god, what did he do?
yeah.
Yeah, this one was really cool as well. This one was pretty intense as well, and like just seeing them jump from and trying to figure out what exactly they needed to do and where they needed to jump. But man, when the snake gangster guy gets his comeuppance, was probably my favorite part of this show.
Oh, no shit. Like,
Yeah,
whenever he grabbed the other guy and threw him,
yeah.
I was like, you son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch.
And then when he was like, I'm just going to stand here. If you want to do anything, go in front of me.
Yeah.
And then he was going to run down the clock. And I was like,
because they were like halfway done, right?
yeah, they had
Yeah.
5 left.
Yeah.
I was like, you son of a bitch.
And so Crazy Girl, who might I add slept with this guy.
Yeah.
Slept with Snake Face Tattoo guy. And basically like grabs him in a death lock, a bear hug, and throws him through a pane of glass, and they die together. Because he screwed her over to begin with,
Oh, I don't even know if she really was trying to do that. She just fell because she didn't know if it was that one or not.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, that was crazy. I was like, oh my god, like how like, oh, that was crazy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she like, oh, yeah. I mean, I love it. And that was the weird thing is it made me think that she might have been like, I don't know, like besides the prostitution thing for her, I feel like she
Mm-hmm.
could have also been like some kind of a killer because she had like attachment issues.
Maybe.
Or if it was just because like he screwed her over because
I think it's because she screwed her over at that one point
yeah,
with the marble game, right?
tug of war.
Oh, tug of war. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they get to the end. All the glass breaks up. The only people who are left are Jihan,
Sungwoo
Sungwoo, and
and
Sai Bako. I don't know her name is. I don't know what her name is.
yeah.
So they're the only ones left in this next episode. Well, after that, as well as Junho escapes, finds out that the front man is his brother, and he gets shot off a cliff. As they're trying to track him down, and we don't see him for the rest of the show. Do you think he died?
No.
No?
No. He shot him in the shoulder. I don't think so. And then whenever he does the whole thing where the front man is actually washing his bullet wound out,
Uh-huh.
I think there was a thing there.
What do you mean?
Because he kind of had the thing where he had seen his brother,
Yeah.
and I think that was foreshadowing that his brother will come back at some point.
Okay. He fell off a big cliff.
Yeah, but we never saw any trace of a body.
That's true. We did not see a body.
So, yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, the other weird thing is he already knew it was his brother because he saw the ID badge that was on the dead body that.
Yeah, but Junho didn't know that front man was his brother.
Right, but Frontman knew that Junho was his brother.
Yes, that's right. And then he saw him before that too.
because he does tell you that I'll let you. I can get you out of this if you put the gun down and give me the phone.
Yeah, that's true.
Which that was really crazy knowledge the whole time with the gun.
Oh yeah, about how
Because he said, "Oh well," he said this bullet is or the shell or something is from a police issue. Da 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 da.
yeah.
And then he sat there and he told him, he goes, "You have one bullet left," because he tried bluffing and saying I had three.
Yeah.
Junho did to his brother. And he goes, "No." He goes, "It's police issued." He goes, "You're a police officer." He goes, "You have 3 shots. You have one chamber that's empty, and you have one chamber that has a blank in it."
Yeah.
He said, "You've already used one on to get the safe door thing open from trying to escape, and you used one to kill somebody.
Yeah.
The only one that he had left was the one that he shot in his brother's shoulder."
Yeah. I have to say, that's crazy to think that that's police regulation, to have one empty and a blank in the other.
Right.
That is baffling to think about.
Well, I mean, the other thing is, how do you know how to set it up?
True.
Like, do you have the empty one and then the blank one, or
do you have like the blank one and then a real bullet?
Yeah,
You
and
know?
then the empty slot and then
Yeah.
a real bullet.
Yeah.
How is it set up?
Yeah, right.
So yeah, or do you have your first 3 shots and then a blank one and then an empty chamber?
Yeah, who knows?
So that was just weird.
Yeah,
And because I was sitting there thinking, like, if he shoots, like, is it going to be the blank one?
Yeah,
Or does he really still have a bullet?
who knows?
And then the other thing I was thinking is, why don't you have more bullets on you?
Yeah,
I'm very confused.
yeah. Why didn't he grab bullets from like why didn't he have like more like any like guns on him? Like because he was a guard,
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the other thing I was confused about as well. Is like there were tons of weapons anywhere he could have grabbed. And then the
true.
other thing that I was confused about is if he knew he was telling these people to go find his brother, why didn't he bring more bullets?
Yeah.
So, it was kind of a weird situation that I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
So
after the game, we have the 3 people left, the finalists.
Which, like I texted you earlier when you said you were on episode 8.
Yeah.
And I said, technically there's 9. Would you agree with what I sent you earlier saying that episode 8 is actually supposed to be attached to episode 9?
Well, it said in the Wikipedia it says 8 and 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
so
when
I
I
think
was
it was just
there,
a shorter episode.
but it's shorter, like even past half. That was the thing that got me.
But most of this episode is spent after the glass game. All the glass blows up.
Yeah.
The girl gets glass stuck in her abdomen, like a big shard of glass,
a big piece of glass.
Which I don't see how they didn't notice that. Like the other people.
Yeah, she kept it covered.
Okay, and then so they have this big fancy dinner where they all eat steak and stuff like that. And I kind of laughed at this point where they take all their stuff away and they have a nice meal. They leave them the steak knife, and that is it. So they all have a knife.
Yeah, and then they clear out the tables.
Yeah, they clear out the tables, and they kind of all go their separate ways. Gihan and Sunghoon, go their separate ways, and the girl. And he goes to check on the girl, Jihan does, because he notices that she's not doing very well. And he's getting ready, Jihan is getting ready to go kill Sungho, and because he's falling asleep. And she stops him from killing him. Sorry, because at this point, Jihan has not killed anybody, technically. Or I guess he kind of has. But I don't know. He killed somebody in the tug of war game.
Not by himself.
Not by himself. He has yet to kill anybody. Except for supposedly the old guy. You know.
No, he didn't even kill him by himself.
Well, you know what I mean.
He just beat him in the game.
Yeah. And she's like, no, don't do it. And he notices the wound on her stomach. And he goes to the door and he's like, hey, somebody's dying. People come in to help. He turns around and Sung-ho has killed the other opponent.
Sung-woo.
You know, Sung-woo, sorry. Sung-woo has killed the other opponent.
Sung-ho!
I don't like how I call it Sung-ho. Sung-woo kills the other opponent.
Yeah.
And Jihan is like livid at this point.
It just adds one more thing to the bucket of hating Sung-woo.
Yeah, hating Sung-woo.
It's like, you killed Ali. You killed Ali. You killed her.
Yeah. He pushed that
Goon.
one guy who knew about the glass.
Yeah, he pushed the guy that was spot 14.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Or 13 maybe. Pushed him. Was kind of a dick at different points of, we need more men on our team.
True. Being very sexist at points.
On top of all this other stuff, like, and it's really weird just how his character like really fell hard.
Yeah, he falls very hard because he wants out. And he's in a very hard predicament before we get into the games, even after as well, you know?
Yeah, he's broken.
Yeah, he's broke. You know?
Yeah.
And so we get to the last game, which is the equivalent of said title. It's the Squid Game.
Yeah.
You want to explain the Squid Game and we get into this?
Sure. So the thing that all of us have to know first off with Squid Game is, and actually, can we take 1 second and bring this up first? Do you think the Squid Game will be in future seasons?
I would say yeah.
Okay, because I was like, if they don't include Squid Game, let's just say the title won't make sense.
If we get a future season, because the creator has not yet even considered having a second season. Yeah.
Well, that was just the thing. I was like, if we have a season 2, like, any other games that are in it that don't include the Squid Game don't make sense.
Yeah, true.
But so we find out about the Squid Game. The Squid Game is basically what everything is built on upon this.
Mm-hmm.
It's what Ji-hoon and Sung-woo played as little boys, which we get a good description of it in the beginning.
Yeah.
The very beginning tells us the same little story aspect of this as it does now with this last game, about what it is and what it basically entails and everything.
It's the most violent game.
We also find out that basically that all the masks for all the people that are in this and the symbols on the back of the card all go with this game. And something else.
I forget.
So, but all the symbols lined up, triangle, square, circle, all supposedly make this squid symbol. And if you look at the ranking system of the red guys, that's how you know
the pink guys.
Yeah, the guys in the suits.
Yeah,
or the jackets.
Yeah,
you find out that's their order, their pecking order.
Yeah,
is
goes circle, square, triangle.
Yeah, circles on the bottom, squares the next one up, like the enforcers, and triangles are basically the head guys.
Yeah,
underneath the front men.
Yeah.
So now that we know that, so we have the Squid Game, which is set up exactly the same. We have triangle, the square as the body, and I guess the circle as the tentacles.
I think so, yeah.
The circle is the starting point, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the only one I was confused on.
Yeah.
So the circle is the starting point. From the circle, you can only the attacker can only jump on one leg
Yeah.
until they run across the body of the squid, which looks like a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
It almost kind of looks like a tug of war thing.
Yeah.
Um, now that I think about it, all the games kind of are set in those symbols as well.
That's true. That is true.
So you run across the bridge
Mm-hmm.
and get over there, and then as little kids, Gihon and Sungwoo had where they called it Inspector Royale,
Yeah.
which now means that you're full bodied, you can move both legs and everything.
Yeah.
And then you have to go into the squid from the bottom, I believe, and
Mm-hmm.
make your way past the attacker as the defender and step into the triangle.
Yeah. The defender will stop the attacker. But this, oh my god, this one was probably the other most intense. This is probably one of the intense scene in the show.
Oh no, it was.
Yeah, because it with your two childhood friends, they both went out. Jihan doesn't want to kill Shinwoo,
Yeah.
and Shinwoo is like, I'm gonna fucking kill you,
Yeah.
with this, and he got his knife and whatnot. But man, Jihan, he's smart. He grabs a fistful of sand and throws it at him, and they start to go at it. Man, this fight is like intense.
Yeah, so they can get Inspector Royale.
Yeah, it is intense. This fight, oh my god.
Yes.
Like, I was surprised that Jihan survives with this fight.
Is true. This is true.
He gets stabbed in the leg, stabbed in his gut, stabbed through his hand.
Yeah.
He gets Sunwoo down on the ground. He goes for the killing blow, stabs it right next to his face, but doesn't stab him. He stabs into the ground, and he's like going to win, and he stops, and he's like, I want to not do this.
He brings up Rule 4.
He brings up Rule 4. I want to vote.
Yeah, and Rule 4 basically is if the majority of the people there want to end the game, then they can. And all the money goes to the people's families that have already passed.
Yes.
Whoever is the winner does not get that money.
Yes.
So he wants to end the game and have the money, or not have the money, so that he can keep Sungwoo around.
Yeah.
And Sungwoo kind of does this whole scene where he tells him, hey, take care of her, which we find out he's talking about his mother.
Yeah.
Which I thought in these two scenes, because the pickpocket girl, before she died, when she was sitting there talking about it, asked Gihon if he would take care of her little brother.
Yes.
So I thought it was kind of funny that they put both of these back to back.
Yeah.
So he asked Gihon to take care of his mother, and then pulls the knife out of the ground and stabs himself in the neck real quick.
Yeah, he kills himself.
So,
yeah. Jihon wins.
Yeah, Jihon wins, wakes up in the middle of nowhere, basically.
Yeah, gets dumped out in the middle of nowhere, has a gold credit card in his mouth, Yeah. And we jump to 1 year later. Gihon has yet to use any of his money. It's just been sitting in this account.
He only used 100 yen.
Yeah, something like that. Because he wanted to try it out,
One, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, before that, he gets it out, goes home. He sees Sunwoo's mom. Hasn't seen Sunwoo for a couple days, hasn't had the heart to tell him.
Hasn't talked to him.
Yeah, her son is dead.
Well, she still thinks that Sungwoo is in America.
Yeah, she does still think he's in America.
Yeah.
He goes home and he finds his mom is dead.
Right, because the other lady brings it up, so we do get a little foreshadowing on that.
Yeah, that was so sad.
Oh
my god, that was so sad.
There's another show, I think, called Truth or Scare or something.
Yeah.
And the girl leaves her brother and comes back and her brother's dead.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of the same scene with this. I was like, what? Truth or Die. That's what it's called.
After that, we jump a year ahead. we find out that he has not touched any of his money that he's won. He's still living in squalor, basically.
Yeah, he's become like a homeless person.
Yeah. He goes to this bank, asks, then they're like, hey, you can become a VIP. You haven't done anything with your money, stuff like that. You want to invest it, which I thought they were trying to get him into the game by being an investor.
Right. Well,
It seemed like.
that's what one of my other friends brought up after finishing this and said, "Hey, do you think that's what that part was?"
I think so.
And
I think so.
I couldn't tell them anything about it because I was like, I don't know.
I think so. I got it in there. I think that's what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I don't need to do it. And he asked the guy to borrow some money. He borrows some money. He's sitting out on the shore, I think it is, or on, drinking a beer or something. And this woman comes up and she's like, hey, can you buy some flowers? They're going to die. Buy some flowers. And we get, there's a card attached to it. And it's a card that he knows very well. And it says, to see him, come visit in this location, floor 7, on whatever day it is,
Yeah.
It said,
I think it was weird. He owned the entire building, and there was only one floor on the elevator.
I
was sitting there like, well, that's kind of weird.
I did.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah. And so he goes, he finds out that the old man is still alive. Man's still alive.
That
he has a tumor.
Old man, completely shaved, like...
yeah.
Completely shaved, like no hair on his head, really, no facial hair.
He's on his deathbed, and he's like, hey, let's play one more game. Look at that guy down there. Look at that guy on the street. He's drunk. Will anybody ever show up and take care of him? There's 30 minutes till midnight. I'll tell you what you want to know about the game, stuff like that. If I win something like they each get everything of whoever wins, something like that. I can't remember exactly what happens.
Yeah, he said if as long as you play the game with me, I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
And
if I win, I get all your money.
Yeah, if I win, you give me your money.
Yeah. And so they're sitting there talking. We find out that the game... Why was the game exactly started? Do you remember?
No, I forgot.
I don't remember why either. No, that's
Stay tuned next week where we talk about this again.
Like, they were all games that the old man played in his childhood.
Yeah. Well, so I can't remember because he gave more reason. And one reason I remember he said was because he wanted to go back to his childhood because he knew he was going to die, but he wanted to have that excitement.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get an explanation of him saying the reason why he wanted to use poor people, which is just people that needed money. It wasn't like in super poverty or anything else. Was because the same thing that they had in common was that you're both miserable. The person that has no money is miserable because they don't have anything to afford. The rich person is miserable because they can afford everything and the sky is the limit. And so you get tired of being rich.
Yeah.
Which there was a thing in there with, I think he kind of said that he used the poor people as well because he wanted to give them hope.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a weird explanation that I don't know if I 100% agree with.
I still don't 100% fully get it.
Yeah.
But he enters into the game because he gets nostalgic about it. And, he becomes friends with Gihan and stuff like that,
Right.
So that's why he entered into the game. To be, and the guy ends up dying and Gihan wins the bet,
Yeah. He dies before and Gihan wins the bet on...
Because somebody actually does care.
Because I think there's a police officer that pulls up.
Yeah, and so he's like, oh, somebody does care,
And he goes, wake up, you bastard! I know before you died, you saw that.
Yeah. And this proceeds to change Gihan's life around for the better.
Oh, entirely.
like he's he's essentially set for the rest of his life.
Yeah, he goes and gets cleaned up.
He goes and gets cleaned up, gets a new haircut, dye job, nice.
Now it's
Nice.
red.
Yeah, with a little bit of yellow in there.
There's yellow in there?
So a little tinge of yellow.
I don't know if I saw that.
Yeah, little yellow streaks. Little. They're like little.
Okay.
Yeah, they're kind of in the front of his hair. And so he goes to adopt that one girl's son, I believe, and get him out of the orphanage. And
yeah, her little brother.
Yeah, her little brother.
Yeah.
And he takes her brother to Sunho's mom. Sungwoo's mom.
Yeah.
And says, hey, look after him. There's this big, heavy briefcase. He gives like
two
a portion.
Two big briefcases.
Oh, is it two? Okay.
Yeah.
He gives a portion of the money to them.
He gives her the amount based off of what Songwoo actually embezzled.
Yeah.
And he gives her a little extra to help her out with the kid and everything else.
Yeah.
Because so there's a note in one of the bags that says, this is what I owed Songwoo.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. And so he's going to go to America,
yeah,
to see his daughter. And when he's going to get on the get ready to go to the plane, he sees the scene from basically the first episode.
Yeah, from the stuff that happened to him.
Yeah, and he goes and he sees the guy and he's like, he tries to get him, but he doesn't get him. And he tells the guy, like, don't fucking get on. Do not fucking go play this game.
Yeah.
Do not go play this game, whatever you do. He takes the card away from him.
Yep.
And you see him going on a plane. He calls the card and he's like, I want to know what's going on. Why is the game like this? And they tell him, player
456.
456, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. Just hang up, get the fuck on that plane, basically.
Regret, which is weird because I was like, how did they know he was going to get on?
I think they had tabs on him still.
I agree.
Yeah, after what happened, I think they definitely had tabs on him.
Yeah,
and he chooses to not get on the plane.
Oh yeah, in the same thing, he stops and he turns around and he's still talking to this person on the phone and starts walking back. Now the real thing is, who was on the phone though? You think it was the front man?
It was the front man. Yeah, it was the front man. It was.
Because the other thing that kept throwing me off is sometimes there would be a girl's voice.
I think the front man got on the phone after he found out it was Jun-hoon.
Okay. And that's when after he told him all that stuff, and then when he said player 456.
Yeah. And you're led to believe he's going back into the game to take the game down. It seemed like,
right?
Yeah.
And
that's how it ends. That's how it ends
on a cliffhanger. We're still waiting.
I have to say though, I like that. I thought that was perfectly fine.
I thought it was too.
I thought I was very fulfilled.
Now here's another thing that I have a question for you. Is, and I only thought of this because I've seen what is it? The high school kind of rendition of this. Battle Royale.
Yeah.
So, in that and that's a Chinese one. Mm-hmm. They pick out a school and that a classroom from the school goes and fights each other and whatnot. Mm-hmm. There's that one, and there's a movie too where they come out and they do that. And it does bring up at different times there are multiple schools that they go and they take them to different places.
Yeah.
It's not like the Hunger Games where they just do one game.
Were there multiple games going on at the same time?
That's the question. Because we don't know if just at that one island, we don't even know if that island has been used multiple times.
True.
Or if it was just because of the old man.
Yeah.
Maybe he owned it. And they set up
maybe
the game
each of them had their own Squid Game.
Exactly. Or if there were multiple ones that went on every time.
Yeah, true. Like one would end and they start a new one,
Because the other thing is whenever Jihon, not
Yeah.
Jihon,
Jihan?
Junho
Junho?
was sitting there taking pictures of stuff.
Uh-huh.
Whenever he looked at one of the sets of them and it said 2000,
Yeah.
there were multiple 2000s.
Oh, yeah, there weren't there? Yeah.
Yeah, so like 2020, that's what it said. And
Yeah.
I couldn't make it out per se, but I think it was for every month.
Ooh,
So that
interesting.
means that there was a Squid Game every month.
Hmm. Interesting.
So, are there multiple Squid Games? Is it all held at the same place?
We'll have to find out if we get
Are
another
there different
season.
are there different hosts?
Ooh, what if we get like a Squid Game like Hall of Fame, like all the winners come back?
Oh, that would be weird.
Yeah, right?
Are the VIPs, do every VIP have their own game section?
Yeah,
Or are the VIPs that we saw, besides the host, just donors?
true.
And not actually, they just use it to bet?
Yeah,
Or do each one kind of have their own setup for a Squid Game? Because Squid Game could spill over not just being Korean, but as everything else.
true. Yeah, yeah,
I mean, especially because one of the guys, the sexist guy,
yeah.
almost, and don't take offense, but he almost kind of sounded like he's from Texas.
Yeah, I think
Right?
he was like
he kind of sounded like a big trucker guy.
he kind of was a little southern as
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
But I can sit there and sleep with anybody I want to. And the guy that was under the deer mask was Japanese,
Yeah.
as far as we knew. The guy that was under the lion mask, I think, was French or Italian.
Maybe.
So, I mean, each person kind of had their own weird characteristics over a different country as well.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we get more of this.
Oh yeah.
But watching this, like, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I went into this expecting I was going to hate it. Honestly, because
would you say TV shows in general on 1-0?
You're 1-0, yes.
Yeah.
But because I don't care about Korean dramas. I really don't.
This is true.
A lot of them are seem very low budget to me, and just just nothing I really want to get a hold of,
Right.
I felt this was very well done. I liked the main character. I liked how it was written. And
it was a TV series. It wasn't a movie because the last thing you and I did, we haven't done it for the podcast, but we did #Alive.
Yeah,
and that was a movie.
Yeah,
and it was weird because it wasn't monster based. Like Sweet Home is monster based.
Yeah, but this, I just kind of after the second, I was in it for the first episode. I kind of got out a little bit in the second episode, then it just pulled me back in.
Yeah,
it pulled me back in. I was like, okay.
Do you think there's a webtoon for this?
No, I think it's 100% original.
Because me and somebody else were talking about it because of how Netflix is doing their stuff. And some of the other stuff, like another thing that's on my list to watch is Alice in Borderland. Was actually a webtoon and is now a manga.
From what I've heard, that this was original. It was just an original story that was inspired by some other things.
Okay. And then
I don't think it's. I think it's just the show. I don't think it's anything else.
Yeah. Because Sweet Home is a webtoon as well.
Yeah, I think it's just the show, and that's why people want more of it, because it's just the show.
Right.
But honestly, I was really surprised with the production value, how high it was.
Yeah.
With a lot of the practical effects I really liked. Because, sometimes with the Asian cinema and stuff like that, it's not always top of the line, sometimes. Well, even though I love my Asian Hong Kong flicks,
I mean, well, I really like this one just because there weren't monsters or zombies or anything else.
It was people.
Yeah, it was people. And so you got to rely on the story driven more than bad CGI.
And the story was the driving force of this. Like, all the characters were the driving force of this,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very much like it was very much like a battle royale meets Lord of the Flies almost.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
And I liked how they focused on what characters they wanted you to know about.
Yeah, yeah.
They gave you different things for different characters so that you didn't know too much about them, but you knew enough. Like if this was a character that they wanted you to be sad about, you were sad.
Yeah,
about.
like Gihan was like a very relatable character.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
he was a father, and he was an addict. I was a recovering addict.
Right.
And so he was very relatable to me.
Right.
In many senses,
Right.
So I very much gravitated towards him,
Yeah.
I liked all that all of our characters were older, they weren't
all teenagers.
They weren't all teenagers, they're in their 20s,
Yeah, I think there might have been a few, but that was it.
I think a couple of the girls might have been.
And then the guys that died right out at the beginning.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
With red light, green light.
This show was fun. It was a fun show. It was well done. It was violent. It's not over the top violence, but it's a good show. It's a show that I would recommend,
Yeah.
I would look forward to watching something else from these people.
Yeah, which I think another one that kind of plays the same aspect, but it's not like a game like that, is Alice in Borderland, because I think everything takes place in a hotel.
Yeah, I mean this was inspired by is it Gambling Apocalypse Kaiji?
I guess.
Which is a manga that's just getting released over here, but it's been a big manga over in Japan.
Yeah,
and I know that manga somewhat inspired this, so it makes me want to go read that manga and see the potential similarities where the creator pulled from there to his influences, what influenced him. But this was a solid series, and I was pleasantly surprised.
What stars would you give it? Out of 5?
Out of 5?
Yeah,
a 4.
Okay,
I would give it a 4. Only because of that second episode. I felt maybe it was dragging on a little too much.
Yeah.
But I can see, but that's just me, my personal taste,
Yeah. Yeah, no, because I felt like the second episode was needed because you had to have a reason for all of them to have this bad misfortune to go back to the game.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And you, with as many cast of characters that they had to focus on for it, you had to they had to go, okay, this is an hour-long thing. We're going back to the island at this point. That's going to be at the 45-minute mark.
But
every character gets 5 minutes for us to figure out what they're going to do, except for Gihun. Let's do it.
I kind of wanted them to just get into the game.
Yeah.
I wanted them to just go into the game and not take a little break and then go into the game. I just wanted to barrel through and go through this. Yeah.
But
other than that, I enjoyed this quite a lot. It's fun.
Which it did seem like they used that to make them invest into it more.
Yeah, I could see that. You're invested with a lot of these characters. You hate them or you love them, or your mood will change with them. But it's definitely a roller coaster.
Yeah,
and it's well worth checking out, in my opinion.
Right.
But you want to wrap this up because I think this is our longest podcast we've done so far.
Probably. Because we're almost at 2 hours.
Thank you guys for listening. If you have any questions, concerns, you can email us at otakuologypodcast@gmail.com. Leave us a voicemail at anchor.fm/otakuology. Leave us a voicemail. We'll do it there. You can even leave us a question, I believe, on our episodes now or something like that.
Yes.
And let us know what you think about this. You can contact us at our Instagram and subscribe, share the podcast, listen.
Definitely.
We're on all major podcast platforms. Listen to us on whatever you listen on to us, and
all major podcast platforms.
Share, listen, that helps us grow. Review us,
review
our podcasts.
For sure, share this one because there are so many people that I've seen talk about this, review it, everything, everybody right now, this is a big hot commodity. So if you're not listening to the podcast right now, this episode in particular, you're out of the loop. So I hope you hop into this, you enjoy it, you love it, and you let us know anything else that you think. If we do get enough, maybe we can make an episode 2 of questions that people ask us about this. If something wasn't so clear, that maybe we didn't cover, or something else like that, maybe we can do another little small podcast for y'all.
Because there was a lot of information to cover in this. Like, it was a lot.
It was, yeah.
But I feel like we really glossed over the big parts.
We did.
Yeah.
We glossed over the games and what the main stuff was, and we didn't really get too much into those romances or other little things that we could have.
Or the little character moments.
So even though we did say this and we did spoil a good chunk of it, I would still recommend going to watch it even after you listen to this episode of the podcast, because there is so much stuff that Mike and I actually didn't cover. And like Mike said, the show is amazing. So
I have to say, I didn't see that twist coming with the old man whatsoever.
Oh yeah, I felt like I saw that kind of early.
I did not see that coming at all.
But yeah, and as for me, I would say that I would rank the show a 4.5.
Yeah,
I did have parts, like Mike said, with episode 2 that I didn't like, or there was something that I felt weird about it, or whatever. But like we both voted on, the majority of it is very well. So even if we meet in the middle, 4 and a quarter is still a really good rating out of 5.
Can I just say as well, like, even with a lot of live action foreign films, or foreign TV shows in general, you always have the English dub, and they have a very hard time matching lip flaps with those. I thought they did a pretty good job here, and I liked the English dub for this. I thought it was good. I thought it was very well done.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, sure. I think the only one I ever caught really any problems like that on was the old man.
Yeah, he was kind of hard to.
There was some I was like, you could have said that a little slower.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I felt like all the voice actors were good for it. I mean, I felt like, and it wasn't weird like how we get some of the Asian voice actors and we get English voice actors, and it seems like it makes the character weird.
Yeah.
So I thought all the voice actors were on par with this as well.
Yeah, I thought it was really good, yeah.
So.
But yeah, thanks for listening. This was a long podcast. I need to get some water.
Right? Besides what you've been drinking all
night. I drank all my water.
Yeah, dang it. So anyway, guys, like we said, catch us on all major podcast platforms. And as always, see you next Tuesday.
Right.